Hello, good evening. I'm Dr. Bhavani Thuraisingam, and this is a recorded video presentation for the conference IEEE Big Data Security, which is going to be held in New York City, I believe from May 9th through 11th, 2025. And I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so the title of the paper is an education program for blockchain technologies. It's a course I taught at UT Dallas, spring semester 2024. So it's just about a year ago. And the date of recording for the conference is today, April 29th, 2025. So we got a grant from the National Science Foundation to develop an education program for blockchain technologies, which is sort of separate from this presentation. And this particular class was taught at the undergraduate level, but the grant is for graduate level courses. So we prepared the courses for graduate level and then extracted a subset and teaching it for the undergraduate level. Okay. So I'm just going to present exactly what we did. So this particular presentation talks about the course, describes concepts, developments, and applications of blockchain technologies. This introductory lecture, and that's what I'm presenting at the conference, will be updated periodically. So actually the paper that's published in the proceedings is really for the graduate level. Okay, so I'll share the paper towards the end of this presentation. So I used the textbook. I looked at different textbooks and chose one on Mastering Blockchain, the 4th edition by Imran Bashir, and it's published by Pact Publishers 2023. So when I taught the course, it was that this book had just come out, the 4th edition. In addition, supplementary material from the video lectures prepared by Professor Khan and myself, Thuraisingam, with our students for an NSF project is also going to be used. And we are also using a lot of references, papers on blockchain from IEEE Blockchain Conference. And a new conference series by ACM was also, I believe, started later in 2024. Okay. So in this introductory unit, I'll talk about the outline, the coursework, the course rules, the contact, and the appendix. Our lectures are typically grouped into modules. So module 1 is blockchain preliminaries. So this module will discuss blockchain preliminaries, decentralized systems, cryptography, and consensus protocols. Module 2 on co-blockchain technologies, and this is really the main meat of the class lecture. The module will discuss blockchain technologies. We talk about Bitcoin, smart contracts, Ethereum, and Hyperledger. Module 3 is trustworthy blockchains and applications. So we look at aspects such as security and privacy, and how do we apply blockchain in fintech finance. And module 4, time permitting for the class, and we had some time to discuss papers, some research in blockchain. So we discussed papers we have published in blockchain. So again, remember, this is for an senior undergraduate class. So this is to make it easy for the students. Lectures in red will be covered only if we have time. If we have time. Lectures in black will be included in exam number 1. Lectures in blue, exam number 2. And lectures in green, some useful notes, but we are not going to discuss it. It's not discussed in the book, but some useful extra notes. So you can see that there's so much of material. Blockchain preliminaries. So we follow the book, but also a lot of extra notes. introduction to, and we also have a resource which I haven't provided the link, but since we got this project from NSF, we have developed several resources for students to self-learn, which we have shared with the entire world. So that's not going to be discussed here. Introduction to blockchain, decentralized. So introduction, chapter 1, decentralization, chapter 2, plus I also added some notes on blockchain. And then I also introduced introduction to cryptography and access control. It's not from the book because you really need to understand crypto for blockchain. Symmetric cryptography, and then from the book, symmetric cryptography and asymmetric, consensus, the heart of blockchain, and some additional nodes like concepts and applications. Module 2 is really the meat of the discussions. Sorry. Core blockchain technologies, so Bitcoin architecture, Bitcoin in practice, and then I discuss some additional notes, block reward, and that's not from book, smart contracts, Ethereum architecture, Ethereum in practice, and Hyperledger. So some sections from the book I skipped. And then, based on some papers, Hyperledger Fabric, notes on blockchain programming, TA. So we had lots of programming exercises. And these exercises are taken from remember I mentioned the resources that we have gathered. So notes on blockchain programming and the TA, the lab classes were taught by the TA. And then we went to chapter 15, which is tokenization. And then I also talked about enterprise concepts and not from the book. Then module 3, okay, now what's happening here? Sometimes I have a problem. Okay. So module 3, continue with module 2, enterprise blockchain, chapter 16, enterprise blockchain revisited, some additional notes, and chapters 11, 12, and 3 have not yet been discussed in class, but these are useful tools for Ethereum developers, Web3 development, and Ethereum and the merger. So those sections, actually the lab classes, we have included some of them, but we didn't go through those chapters in class. Then module 3 is, remember, blockchain is used for securing applications, but blockchains have to be secure. They have to be scalable. So we talk about scalability, which is chapter 17 in the book. Data privacy, not from book, not on blockchain, not in exam, but it's really important concept. Privacy from the book, blockchain. Malware is not from book, how blockchains could be attacked. Additional notes by TA. And then we had security, blockchains have to be secure. That's chapter 19. Blockchains can be used for security, to secure applications, but like supply chain, but blockchains have to be secure. Blockchain and IoT, not from book, but included in exam for extra credit. And decentralized finance, which is chapter 21 from the book. And chapter 22 will not be discussed, which is like next steps, but they can read. Questions to be included, selected application and explained how blockchain may be used. For exam 1, or a specific application for exam 2. Okay. Then blockchain research, time permitting. And then this is in the UT Dallas, we have our box, and there we have placed many resources to guide with the professors with courses, and we have shared with the world. Okay. So, and again, undergraduate class, several quizzes. We had 3 quizzes, multiple choice questions. Students have to select the correct answer, and I also asked them to justify their answers. Programming assignments. So we had 2 programming assignments, fairly extensive, one on blockchain and one on smart contracts. However, for smart contract assignment, they can get an extra credit of 2 points because it was more complex. You can choose to do at most 1 term paper for 10 points. Okay. note that if the term paper is in lieu of programming assignment 2, then you will not get the extra credit of 2 points. So to give them incentives to do the programming assignment, I gave them an extra credit of 2 points. But some students sometimes struggle, so they prefer to do the writing of papers. So in addition to all this, they also have a team programming project, and that's worth 27 points. And team is, let's see, I think we said 3 up to 1. Sometimes I also say 1 is fine, but preferably at least 2. So it's probably from 1 to 4 is what I said for team projects. Exam 1 and exam 2, 23 points. Exams may include extra credit, and total is 100. And I'm very strict about the grading in the sense that 100 undergraduate students, they could have A+, so 100 and above. And then, of course, the rest. Okay. Much of the information in supplementary documents, again from our box. Quizzes, the dates due, February, March, and April, evenly distributed. Programming assignments also in between, 1 and 2. Note again, only one term paper. So every student must do at least 1 programming assignment. Team project due February 28th, comments given. And then, of course, we had a class presentation on April 25th. Programming project submission, May 6th. And exams, of course, exam 1 and exam 2. So I use different colors. Right, the different colors is because red ones are in the future. So when I presented these charts, this lecture is updated throughout the semester. And so what's red is what's going to come in the future. Okay, format of term paper, critique. So term paper is critique at least 1 published paper or carry out a survey on a particular topic related to blockchain. So title, abstract. So format is introduction, discuss the approach taken by at least 1 published paper, discuss the pros and cons of the paper, and summary and directions, how will you enhance the paper, and so on, and the references. Project presentation, the fun part for my class. Every class I do have a team programming project, because what's important is to train the students to work in teams. Because in the real world, if you're working in companies, and remember, when I joined academia in October 2004, I had worked prior 24 years, I had worked in industry, including Honeywell, Mitre Corporation, and so on. So teamwork is really important. And even in academia, I think teamwork is important, although individualism sort of might be encouraged, but students have to learn to work in teams. So introduction to the project, design. So they have to present the project, design of the system, implementation. What did they implement of the design? What did they not implement? Some screenshots, any challenges encountered, directions. And we have to limit to 8.5. So again, in the beginning, I used to ask them to do live demos, but we always go over. And so we limited to 8.5 minutes. Project deliverables, so project software, because sometimes we test the software. Project report, 1 to 3 pages. Objectives, high-level design, implementation, what you implemented, what you did not implement, output, challenges, how you can improve on the project. Okay, course rules, I'm not going to go into these details. Of course, no plagiarism, all the assignments and exams, except programming project individual, no late assignments unless valid reason. Lectures will be recorded on Teams, and also professional recording of all lectures will be stored in the box folder. We'll make announcements during lectures or via email on e-learning regarding project presentation and paper presentations. We'll be modifying this introduction throughout this particular lecture is updated. Attendance is mandatory, but of course, they could get sick. So please inform before class if you're not attending. And one thing that's really irritating for me is when students talk in class. So that's really a no-no. If they talk in class, I send them out. and they don't, it's considered like they have not attended, so some points might be taken off. Okay, by the way, a project is 1 to 5 members, okay, programming project. And here is the contact information. I'm the professor, and then we had one TA for the class. About 75, actually, undergraduate class, I had 75 students, senior class, which was quite interesting, actually. Okay, now what I want to show is this paper, just to show you all what this paper was about. So, actually, I should have PDF version. Okay, so this was the early version of the paper, by the way. Oh, so it's myself and Dr. Khan and Kim Nimon. Dr. Kim Nimon, she's an education researcher at the University of Texas at Tyler. She does all the evaluation of the work that we have done. Okay, so for this class, because it's undergraduate class, once we teach the graduate class, then Kim will come in and do the evaluations, interview the students. Of course, we've got to go through IRB approval, and then she has done the evaluations for us. So the class, it's actually, I'll just go through, you can read the paper. Need for expertise in, why did we are developing? Because there's a strong need for expertise. And what are some of the relevant courses? Again, trustworthy AI and data science go hand in hand, I would say, with blockchain. Some of the courses that we are teaching, and details of our current research in blockchain, because for us, research helps with our course development, and the courses again help with our research, because students do research as part of their coursework. So we've done a research, published a number of papers, and then we go to the crux of this paper, curriculum development in blockchains. And we have several modules: introduction to blockchain, and then we have various labs, introduction to smart contracts, and then we have, what else? Designing and developing smart contracts, and then a number of other topics, right? So various labs and vulnerability detection in blockchain. So these modules are already done, and it's in our box. That's for graduate class. So when I do teach a graduate class, and I don't know when that's going to be. Okay, evaluation is what Kim really wants to do when we teach the graduate class, the evaluation. And of course, acknowledgements. This is the earlier version, by the way, so I really haven't, this is a paper that we submitted, and then of course, this is not the final version. And of course, lots of references for our work. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing. Okay, so we are still in here. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing. And I think that's the end of the presentation. And I'm also going to put this on YouTube, because I have a YouTube page where not everything, some of my presentations, conference presentations or whatever, go in there. And I think that's it. So how long have I taken? Not so sure how many minutes. I started around 12. Yeah, so it's a probably 20-minute presentation. Okay. So again, I'm going to, how do I stop this recording? Okay, here, stop recording. Let's see, record, stop recording. Okay, so thank you very much. And hopefully I'll see you at the conference.